Welcome back to 4J Music. Today I want to talk to you about three things that sometimes make worship teams not sound very good or very tight. But before we get into that, I want to invite you to like and subscribe to the channel and also to share this video with anybody that you think might need this information. The first thing I want to talk to you about today is clutter. Now, this happens when there are too many things vying for the attention of your audience. In this case would be a congregation. And so whenever there is no delegation as to what instruments can be playing in lead line or chords or rhythm or whatever, then you can start having a lot of jumbled mess because people are playing over each other. Let me give you an example of what that sounds like. Now, a few weeks ago, I was playing the song He Is Faithful, and there's this really, really neat, iconic to the song piano lead line. Depending on which version you listen to, you're either going to hear, one version that has the piano lead line or one that has an arpeggio type guitar line. So this is what it sounded like on my in-ear monitor mix.
He has proven his great love for us. We will praise him. We will praise him with our lives. And proclaim our love for him.
Now, this is what it sounded on the live stream, okay? So now I did this on purpose. I knew I wanted to make this video, so I went ahead and broke my own rule just for the teaching example of showing you what it sounds like when you have two competing lines, okay? Now, we have wonderful sound people, and they were actually able to kind of paper over this, but this is not something that you would normally do if you're wanting to have a good, solid team that doesn't sound cluttered, okay?
He has proven his great love for us. We will praise him with our lives and proclaim our love for him.
All right, so how do you fix that? Obviously, you want to make sure you have parts that are assigned. You're doing rhythm here, you're doing more of a lead line here. And when you start hearing clutter, then you identify what part is the one that you actually want to hear be more prominent. And it may mean that you don't get to play that little lead line that you learned, or maybe for me, I don't play that piano line that I like so much, and I let the guitar player have that moment. That's usually what I do whenever we play that song. I stay out of the way because I think that's a really neat moment for the guitar to have more room there and me get out of the way. Sometimes I will do that little lead line underneath and I'll go an octave below, but to have both of us playing two very, very involved moving parts in the same register is just too much. Now, the second thing is vocal diction. Now, I've begged my wife, she's a fantastic vocalist, and she's one of the other J's of the 4J family here, and I've begged her to try to come on to the video and record something to be able to talk to you about vocal diction, but I went ahead and got this idea from her, and I want to show you two examples of the song Goodness of God. Jen Johnson, the way she pronounces the word me is more of a may. CeCe Winans, she does more of a straight me sound, okay? Now, I'm not saying that one or the other is better. It just has to be consistent. If your worship team was singing this, then you want to make sure that you agree on what the pronunciation of certain words like king, me, whatever your song is about, especially if you have long tones where you're holding out these notes for a long time. That's a long time for the discrepancy to be obvious to the listener. And so I want you to check both of these out back to back, and you'll hear the difference, hopefully. To fix that is just talk to your worship team, your vocalists, agree on the pronunciation, and also make sure you give the same reference recording track to everybody as they're listening on Planning Center or whatever YouTube videos you send out to everybody, that everybody's listening to the same version of the same song. All right, the last thing I want to talk to you about today is tempo. Now, I used to cringe whenever people would say, oh, we're doing this new song. It's okay. It's a really easy song. It's really slow. Slow means that your vocalists have to hold out notes for a long time, expend more air. There's more spaces between the downbeats. And if you're not using a click track, a lot of those discrepancies on the alignment between the downbeat to downbeat can become more apparent. And I have an example here. Now, full disclosure, my primary instrument is actually not piano. And so when I went back to listen to the live stream, I could hear that I was a little bit ahead on some of the piano playing, especially when I was doing this octave lead line. And you'll feel a little bit of the discomfort as you're hearing the click track from my in-ear monitor mix and my playing. It's just, I'm a little bit like rushed. Now, I'm still together with the team, and there's a little bit of a tug between what I'm doing as I'm trying to do this a little bit more complex for my ability level lead line.
Turnaround, 2, 3, 4. Verse, 2, 3, 4.
Now, was anybody in the congregation really going to notice a slight deviation like that? Probably not. And obviously, practice would make that a little bit better. But the easy and quicker fix would be just to take out the octave. But obviously there are things that might happen elsewhere, whether it's drums, bass. One of the most common things that makes tempo fluctuate is syncopation. When you have notes that are not on the downbeats, when young players especially are trying to find the inner beats, the eighth notes or the 16th note subdivision, it makes it very difficult, and sometimes they tend to compress the timing of some of those patterns. And so sometimes you need to simplify the part a little bit, okay? Especially in the drums, if you have a kick pattern that's very syncopated, that's where you start seeing some pushes and pulls on tempo. So this is something that helps your worship team improve as you're planning and trying to diagnose some of the issues that you might be having, whether it be vocally, musically, or with balance and blend. All right, thanks. Bye-bye.